I'm tired of sounding so dreary when I do these intros.
Like, what's up, guys?
No, it's not like that.
It's just basically.
Let's
do this intro.
I feel like my head's really big. I need you to come.
I
don't like. Okay, you know what? I changed my mind. What's good, everybody? We are Just Barely, and we are back again with our first ever story time on this channel. And today we are going to be talking about two completely separate but very similar situations we both had with two completely different people.
Ex-best friends.
Ex-best friend.
She's still hurt by it. She's still hurt by it.
Well,
we're not using names?
We're not going to use names.
Okay.
Anybody who actually knows either of us probably already knows what's going on anyway. It was that serious at one point. And because I am Confucian, I am going to let Alyssa go first with her story.
Okay. So we're gonna call her Becky, just because I always go with the name Becky. I didn't know what else to.
It's not the same Becky from the last time.
No, it's different Becky. So should I start off with how we met?
Yes.
We knew each other in like not elementary school. Fuck. We knew each other in middle school, but we weren't great friends. And so we met in sophomore year in a history class. Mm-hmm. And the reason we became friends actually is because of Becky with the burnt hair.
She was at our school?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Oh yeah,
she moved the end of sophomore year.
Oh yeah, I remember this conversation multiple times. I just have a bad memory.
But we became friends because of Becky with the burnt hair. Okay. But Becky, this is so weird calling them not by their names. We hung out all the time. Like, she didn't have a lot of money, so I bought her a lot of stuff. And I'm super nice, and I don't care to do that. Like, I'd buy her food if she needed it. You took me to her house one time when she was sick to bring her food.
Okay.
Yes.
That was before she moved?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she moved to, what is it? Out by Six Flags.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Just give it a minute.
Okay, yeah. She moved out to Eureka.
Yes.
Okay. And, I went out there a lot to visit her, and she would come down here and spend a weekend. She spent a week with us one time. Then I think I spent with like 3 or 4 days with them down there. So we were seeing each other, and then it got to the point where like she made friends down in Eureka, and I met all of them. They're really fucking nice. And I guess we just slowly distanced ourselves because it came to the point where she would be in town and she wouldn't tell me she was in town, but she would post it on everything. And I was just like, you could be like, hey, I'm gonna be here, like we could meet up and say hi. I haven't seen you in like 4 months. But she never did that, and it got really annoying. And it got to the point where I was just like, okay, like I did all this for you and you're not even gonna give me an explanation of like, hey, blah blah blah. So I texted her. And I don't remember exactly what I said. I could probably pull up text messages. But I was basically like, hey, like, I feel like we're drifting apart. I feel like we're not really even friends anymore. Like, all this. And literally all she said is she's like, well, we're not friends. We just have our own lives to live. And I was like, okay, fine. That's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, it sucked and it hurt because I was like, I did all of this for you. I was this really great best friend. And then you just... adios, bye. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm not going to tell you when I'm in town. So it got annoying to an extent, but like I'm not mad at her anymore. Like I got over it. Like I still love her and I still care about her and I'd probably still do anything for her. We don't talk that much. She'll randomly text me and be like, hey, how are you doing? But I'm not going to go out of my way to text her or to say hi to her. I was petty and unfollowed on everything on social media because I was petty when I was like 17 when it happened. But it's more like I don't.
That was long. I really thought that was like more recent.
No.
Oh, you're younger than me.
So I don't hate her. I guess it's to the point where it's like at first I only followed her because I was like, I don't want to see how happy you are because you really just ditched me out of the blue for no reason. And she would always be like, oh, you're like the friend I've always wanted, like blah blah blah. Like all her best friends used to ditch her back then, and I was always like the one friend that was there for her no matter what. Like she was there for me through my breakup with Becky with the burnt hair. I was with her through her breakup with her ex. I mean, that's kind of it. Like, I don't remember the last time we talked. It was probably, like, months ago. And I'm not mad about it. I get friends come, friends go. Things happen. People drift apart. She was a big part of my life, and I don't regret being friends with her. It sucks losing a friend that you thought you'd have for a while, and they knew so much about you, and you knew so much about them, and it sucks. But I learned to get over it. Like, if she probably texted me I want to hang out, I'd probably go and see her, because we didn't end badly. She didn't really just ghost me. We talked. She just found new friends, and that's bound to happen when somebody moves an hour or so away. But oh well. So I guess that's my story. So I guess Brittany's gonna go next. Do you need tissues?
No, I don't need tissues. I'm not a bitch. My story is a little bit complex. Me and my friend met as freshmen in high school because I had just switched from private school to the public school district, so I didn't know anybody, whereas everybody else like grew up in middle school and elementary school together. So I actually didn't meet her until like a few months. Oh no, because my freshman year we went to homecoming together. I met her probably maybe like a month in the
pictures.
Yeah, I met her like a month into the school year, and this was after like I spent the first 3 weeks of school eating lunch by myself. I met her through a girl who found out that we were both interested in the same type of music, and then she let me go sit with them at lunch one day, and there was this girl who would later become my best friend, who at the beginning we didn't really talk that much but that was in August. And somehow along the way, I don't know exactly what changed, but by October, when homecoming was, like early October, me and her were like hip to hip all the time. We went to homecoming together. It was a cool little event. That was for my birthday celebration. Every year in high school was homecoming. But yeah, we just got really close, and we ended up spending a lot of time together. And then around my sophomore year, I met Alyssa, and then I introduced her and Alyssa to each other.
Story time about how we met.
Yeah, we do need to. Okay, we'll do that on a different. We probably should have put that out before we put this one out.
Yeah.
But I met Alyssa, and I introduced them to each other, I think my sophomore year, and then the summer after my sophomore year, I think it was the three of us, and we were just like completely inseparable all summer long. And even if it wasn't the three of us, it was either me and Alyssa or me and this other girl who, so unfortunate, I have not heard from in a long time.
The difference though is like she has a past of doing it to friends.
That's I think that's what really got me, because if it would have been like a normal thing, it's like paranoia, because she's told me these stories about how she's had friends who she literally just stopped talking to. Yeah. And I think that I never thought that. Oh my God! That Allie's here.
You can tell.
But yeah, she had told me all these stories about how she had ghosted friends in the past, and I really never thought that would ever happen to me. But we had spent all this time together, and I mean, I've always been awkward. I don't make friends very well. In high school, I had like a group of 5 friends. I only talk to like 2 of them now. One of them is Alyssa. One of them is this other guy who's still really cool. But she was like I don't have friends, and she was like the friend, you know? And I think our junior year was also a good summer, but our junior year was a lot of me and Alyssa spent together, because me and Alyssa were playing softball together. So we would
Select and school.
Yeah, we were playing select and school softball, and like we were playing select over the summer, so we would be going.
She came to some games with us though.
She didn't like the games. But she always came, and I always loved that. I was like, oh, she's supporting us, she's whatever. But like we went on we were at tournaments almost every weekend, and if we weren't at tournaments on the weekend, we had games during the week, tournaments during the week. We were going out of town together and stuff. And I don't know if that had any part to play in this like ultimatum that I was eventually given, because senior year rolls around and we're all super cool, and my senior year, she's still a junior, me and Alyssa go get these tattoos, and at that point it was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And it was like,
we were still really close though, because she was down for it.
Yeah, she was. That summer was a little bit awkward though, because that was the first summer that we really could not get her to go anywhere with us. Like after we got the tattoos, we went out a few other nights. We went to Pride togetger for the first time, all three of us.
Also the thing, like, they were leaving for college. She got really emotional about it. So I don't know if that was her way of just like distancing herself from us so it wouldn't hurt so much.
And she also is clinically depressed. So it was an understanding that there were going to be times where if I couldn't get a hold of her, I shouldn't be worried, or I should just keep trying, just keep in touch, even if she wasn't responding back to me. I was friends with her cousins. I knew where she lived. Her family knew who I was. They were comfortable having me around. So like it was never an issue of like not being able to get her if it was necessary. But it was like we were trying to spend that entire summer together. We had like, I think we all had that feeling on us that we were like, it was planned that we were going to be together that entire summer. And it's like we went to get tattoos and we didn't see her for a couple weeks. We went to Pride and we didn't see her for a couple weeks. And then
we saw her before she left.
We saw her the night before.
Because I saw her before she left, because she
left after I did.
She left after you, and she ended up giving me a poster. I don't know where it's at. But she gave me a poster. So
she left after I did. We spent a night at IHOP or whatever, and then like I went to her house and we said our tearful goodbyes. And it's like freshman year of college. It was kind of cool. We kept in contact every once in a while, and it was still like okay with me, because I was like, we're grown folks anyway. At one point in our lives, we were going to go our separate ways, and we weren't going to be able to keep in touch like that. We were still going to be close.
See, like the thing with us is like we don't talk every day.
We
don't, but like when you come back, we hang out all the fucking time. Like, or that's the difference. We hang out a lot. Like, every time you came back, we made an effort to hang out.
Yes.
Because even though we don't talk a lot, we'll talk occasionally and have conversations, or we'll FaceTime occasionally, but we have this understanding that we don't need to talk every day.
Yeah.
And I think we had the same understanding, but
yeah,
you guys had the same understanding, but at the same time,
at the same time, it was kind of getting frustrating, because it's like you get to college and you're meeting new people and you're building these relationships, and you realize that maybe the fact that in high school I always had to be the one to reach out wasn't okay. But maybe the fact that in high school I always had to be the one to like go over and try to get her out, and I was always the one who was being like having my text ignored and stuff. Maybe that wasn't okay.
Freshman year with you guys, we still talked.
Yes.
Really briefly, but we would still talk. Like, me and her still, like, had a streak. You and her still had a streak. Like, we still talked even if it was not so much. I think it just got really bad.
Me and her didn't have a streak.
Oh, me and her did for a while. But we didn't talk as...
You use Snapchat, like...
Yeah, but also we didn't talk as much as... I didn't talk to her as much as you did.
Yeah.
Because you knew her more. I think it got really bad towards, like, halfway through your freshman year, like, when you came back.
That's
this year. Was it this year you texted her?
No.
It was last year?
It was this year that I texted her, but there's something that happened halfway through my freshman year that I don't even think I've ever told you.
You might have.
But it was kind of weird because I didn't even realize what was happening at the time. But I think being able to think about how it all led up to it, I was given an ultimatum. I have a Christmas Eve party that Alyssa's been going to for a few years. She's been going to for a few years. And I didn't realize that at that party I was given an ultimatum when she told me, because you and Allie were like coming over or whatever, and she was telling me about how she couldn't always hang out with us because of the way you did things or whatever. And at first I was like, okay, whatever. I knew that you guys weren't I knew for a long time that I was just kind of like being an intermediate in this relationship between you two.
I don't even know what happened. Like, I didn't care because I wasn't close to with her, but she never really technically liked me from the beginning. And then I think she just dealt with me.
Yeah, she thought you were encroaching on her territory with me.
Yeah. So I think that's a big issue. She might have just put up with me, but the difference is like, you guys are best friends and me and you are like family. Like, that's the huge difference.
But it was still like, I considered you two in two completely different categories. You were my little sister, who annoyed the shit out of me sometimes, but you were still that person, you know? And then that was my best friend. Me and her were fucking soulmates in my mind. In my head, we were like going to be people who are always going to be part of each other's lives. And maybe in the future something will come up, things will change, I don't know. But that was the, like, I wasn't going to be able to get rid of you, and I wasn't going to be able to get rid of her no matter what. That was the thought process.
The last time I remember hanging out with her is when I asked, what's her face out? Will Munchkin. That's the last time I remember hanging out with her.
Yeah, like these two, I knew from the beginning that I was kind of like the middle person between the two, because you guys didn't hang out with each other alone.
No, one, because we both didn't drive.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Two, she doesn't talk that much.
And me and her can have conversations. Yeah. Me and her could talk. And I was like, okay, y'all don't have to be like best of friends, but as long as you guys can click, I'm chill.
Yeah, I just don't know where she started not liking me.
I think it really is just a cultural difference, because she was coming over here and we could all agree that we were having fun, but it's like I was kind of put in a situation where she was like, oh, I can't hang out with you two together. And I was like, okay, but
why?